Hello everyone, it's Laurie and welcome back to a new tutorial. A few days ago I did a poll on my Instagram if you guys wanted to see a tutorial on how I draw eyes digitally, and you guys said yes, so here I am doing it. A little disclaimer that this is not the only way on how you draw eyes. There's like a million ways on how to draw eyes, but this is just the way I do it, and my style is a realistic cartoony style, and I have this painting coloring style, and I actually don't do line art, but I really hope that maybe some of the tips and some of the things that I will do in this video will be helpful for someone. Anyway, let's get started. I usually start by doing this oval ball kind of shape, and after that I start sketching the eye. And you have to remember one important thing, that when you draw eyes, the eyelashes need to be flowy and soft. They don't have to look stiff like sticks, because those are not eyelashes, let me tell you. You just have to do some very swift movements and to make them look softer, and also they have to be bent. And as you already know, I don't do line art. So what I did is I put the sketch layer on top, and I put another layer under the sketch one. And I lowered the opacity on the sketch layer, and on another layer I start adding the skin tone. And I start by shading the upper eyelid and the lower eyelid together by using different colors that go with the skin tone. And if you're going with the lighter skin tone like I did, I will also use some red colors. And for this tutorial, I'll be adding a little bit of eyeshadow to the eye just to make it a little bit more interesting. But that's totally optional. You don't really have to do that. But I really like drawing eyes with makeup, so that's what I did for this tutorial. Before I actually start adding the eyeshadow, I will add the white part of the eye, which is the sclera, and I'll be not shading that. And the way I add eyeshadow to an eye is to create another layer on top of that, put it on multiply, and choose whatever color you want, since eyeshadow comes in every single color of the rainbow. And for this drawing, I decided to choose a peachy red color, orangey, because that's my favorite makeup look. I will merge the two layers together, and I will start adding highlights to the eyeshadow, and I'm using different colors like pink, white, and also I'll be adding yellow highlights because I think that yellow goes very well with this makeup look. When shading something, it could be anything, you don't have to use the same colors. For example, if you're drawing a red shirt, you don't only have to use a darker shade of red to shade that. You can use purple, you can use blue to add more dimension to the whatever you're shading. after adding highlights and more darker colors to the eyeshadow, I start by drawing the tear duct and shading that with pink. And I also make sure to add a little highlight to the actual tear duct because it's always shiny and glossy. After that, I create another multiply layer over the eye, and I start shading the sclera. And what I do is I select the airbrush tool, I select a lilac grayish color, and I just start shading. Usually when I shade the sclera, I always make sure to use a lilac grayish color, and by putting on multiply it becomes darker and better. But I also sometimes use blue, but not blue, like always blue on the gray side. And always on the same layer, here I am adding the iris and the pupil, and by shading it with dark colors. And in this case I decided to draw a brown eye since I rarely do that, and I should be doing that more often since brown eyes are beautiful. I'm gonna create another layer on top of everything and always put it on multiply, and with my airbrush tool I'm gonna go over top that layer with a more blue gray color to always add more dimension and more shadows. And after doing that, I'm gonna add the final highlights to the drawing. And before I actually start adding the eyelashes, I always make sure to add a little bit of highlights on the corner of the eye. And also, I forgot to put that in the video, but also on the brow bone, because that's very important and it gives more dimension to the drawing, like always. And since I'm going for some sort of like makeup look, I also added a winged eyeliner because that looks super pretty. And I always add eyeliner to my characters for some reason. I really like doing that. And now I'm adding the eyelashes. Always make sure to do swift and soft movements while drawing the eyelashes, because eyelashes are supposed to look soft. They're not supposed to look stiff, and they're not sticks, like I said before. And same goes with the lower eyelashes. They are a little bit smaller, but it's the same thing. And now I'm adding the eyebrow, and whenever I draw eyebrows, I usually just draw the eyebrow shape. I start shading it with the colors, and then later on I will add the eyebrow hairs individually. Now I'm just gonna do some finishing touches, like adding a little bit more highlight and adding little stars at the bottom of the eye, and I'll be adding some freckles just to make, I guess, the eye look more interesting. Also, if you're wondering what brushes I use for this drawing and what software I'm using, well, I'm using Medibang, and the main brushes that I use are the airbrush tool, the pencil, and I also used the watercolor and the wet watercolor brush. And if you don't know how to get those brushes, just simply click on the little cloud at the bottom left corner, and well, when you click that, another window will open when you can download a lot, but you can download different brushes. There's a large variety of brushes, so if you don't know how to get free brushes on Medibang, that's how you do it. It's very simple, and there are a lot of interesting brushes over there, and I actually downloaded quite a few of them because I usually use those. And I actually used a watercolor splatter brush for the freckles, and I find that brush very interesting. So yes, this is all I have for you today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this, I guess, tutorial. It's not really a tutorial, it's more like my process on how I draw eyes. But hopefully some of the tips that I gave you will be helpful. But yeah, that's how I draw an eye, I guess. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up, a comment, and you can support me by subscribing to my channel and clicking the little bell to receive a notification every time I upload a new video. So yeah, once again, thank you all so much for watching. I love you all, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!